So this is the second segment of the presentation on application, installation, and configuration. So what we were talking in the first segment, it's when you buying the application, you have to be, or installing application in the computer, you have to be mindful about the security aspect of installing or downloading software, because downloading software, if the software does not come from a legitimate source, that software may come with malware that can affect your computer, that can affect your network. So you have to make sure you pay attention to the security aspect of installing software in your computer or in your network. And we said you have to be mindful about the requirements. They have operating system requirements, because every software is designed for a specific operating system. And you also have to pay attention to the system requirement, because some application require specific CPU, some application require specific graphic card. So RAM is another requirement, because depending on the application you're going to install in the computer, it may require a specific amount of RAM. Some applications have a minimum requirement. What the minimum requirement said, as I said in the first segment, the minimum requirement said this is how much you need to install the application. However, when it's come to the application performance, it may require that you have more than the minimum requirement to install the application. In this space, as I said earlier, in the first segment, some application require that you have a certain amount of disk space available in the hard disk drive to install that type of application. Most applications are installed from an executable file called setup or install. In the first segment, I already talked about this. So when you install a software, all you have to look if the install or the setup file, to click on it and follow the screen, follow the instruction on the screen, because it is the most easier task installing an application software. What you have to be really mindfully about is what are the requirements, the hardware and the operating system requirements to install this. As I said, the setup or the application can be distributed in CD, DVD, or USB drive. And a lot of applications now, they come from the internet. You have to download them. So the way the application come does not mean that much, because regardless the way the application come, all application will have the setup or install file and a set of instruction that will help you to complete the installation. So the instruction to complete an installation can be different from application to application. It depends of the software engineer. In Windows, you can use group policy object. This is if you have a network or you have a work group. So you, as the administrator, you can set up the policy. So at this point, you don't have to tell people this is what they have to do. So everything they have to do, they have to go by the policy. Or if they don't go by the policy, they will not be able to install. So the group policy object is a set of virtual instruction that you put on your network that the user of your server will have to comply with. To run an application, the user need to be granted read execute permission over the application. One of the policy. So, in order for anyone to install a software, they will have to be granted an authorization. So you, the IT specialist or the IT administrator, will have to grant authorization to that person. If you don't do that, a user will come with any software that they like, or they can go online, start downloading anything they want in your computer. Just set up the computer, give the user only guest authority. If somebody is using your computer, they don't have to have administrative authority. If they don't have administrator authority on the computer, they will have to ask you to grant them authorization to install the software. So there are a lot of policy, but one of them is do not give full right to the user of your computer. Any file created when using this application must be stored in the home folder rather than the application directory. So most of the time, when you install an application in a network, so the user will come to the network, and most of the time they will have a file server where the user is going to put the file. The user is not going to save the file in his personal PC or in the workstation that is using. So this is very important because that gives you, as the IT administrator, more control over what's going on in your computer, over what's going on in your network. When download software, a malware called Trojan horse is the principal threat because the true purpose of a Trojan horse is always concealed. In this program, pretty soon we will have to study about security. And one of the things that you prevent by using all the security principle and understand the security concept is the fact that there are a lot of malware out there that are creating trouble. So a computer user call any malware a virus, but there are many types of malware. One of the malware is Trojan. Trojan is a malware that pretend or sometimes do something good, but the real purpose of the malware is not what is offering as a good service. Like you download the music, when you are listening to the music, it's good, great music, but behind the scene, that music has a code that is stealing information from your computer. It's like when you download the free antivirus software, a lot of people are raving about, oh, that antivirus software is good. Yes, that antivirus software may protect your computer, but the purpose for what reason they give you that antivirus software free, it is because they want that antivirus software to come with a code that will steal all information from your computer, send it to a third computer, or send it to someone. So you don't download those type of software in your computer. You don't install that type of software because you put all the asset, all the technology asset your company has at risk. Even at home, if you do that, you can compromise all the computers attached to the network. So this is the reason why you have to be careful when you download software in your computer, because the software is likely, if it's a free software, it will come with malware that can cause problem to your computer. So a bad software that you install on your computer can impact the stability of the computer or the instability of the entire network. So this is something that you have to implement by policy and by action. So people or the user of your computer or the employees in your company should not have any right to download and install any application software without the authorization of the formal authorization of an IT technician or the IT administrator. This is very, very important. So we're going to stop this segment here. In the next segment, we're going to talk about the different Windows program and feature, because Windows operating system come with a lot of program and feature. Some of the feature, they are not enabled by default. You have to go and enable them when you want to use them. But what I'm going to teach you in the next segment is how to locate and where in the operating system you will find those features that are very necessary for a lot of things that you want to do. Features like virtualization. All of these are very important. In the next segment, this is what we're going to see.